This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So now we are going to discuss temporary data set and type run is called scan or old set parameter. Okay. First we will discuss these three parameters. After that we will see rest of the things. So what is a temporary data set? What is the need of the temporary data set? Okay, in JCL. So do you have any idea about this one?
Uh, Hello, Venkat. As per my knowledge, the dataset will be deleted after the job completion.
That is up to us how you are defining it. Yes, answer is correct. Okay, so let me explain you the importance of the temporary data set. So what happens, Steve, when you are writing, JCL? So there are some scenarios where we need to pass the output of one step as a input to another next step. Okay, so that's all. Once once we complete the utilization of the temporary data set, the usage, once you use the temporary data set, so end of the job I don't want. Okay, so in that case we can go with the temporary data set. So I'll take one simple example, team, which is the real-time example. So what we do, team, there is a concept called COBOL compilation process. So step one, we will do a compile. Okay, step one, we do a compile. So during compilation, it converts it converts from COBOL code to object code. Okay, so it will convert into the object code. Step two, object code, as you object code is not executable code, so we write another step, link edit step. So what we do here, so the object code we will give as an input to, we will give object code as an input to link edit. So the input is object code, then we will generate load module, so output will be load module. So here, once I get the input, that's all. That is the role of the object code. So I don't want any more about the object code. So for that, why we need to create a one physical sequential file, store that data, the object code there, and give that file as an input. There is no need of it. Okay, so unnecessarily allocating a resources and physical space for that particular PS file or PDS, which is not required. So to save the space, okay, so to save the space, we will be going with the temporary data set. So I hope we are clear, team.
Yes, Venkat.
Yeah. So now we will see one small example. Okay, we will see one small example on it. So September 20 MF. So I'll say how you can create the temporary data set and all. I'll explain you now. So TMP, yes. So I'm writing a code, MATRMJC job got notify equal ampersand sys user ID. Step one, execute VSAM is equal to IEB gender. Okay, so just to give an experience on the temporary data set, I'm going with the simple 1D. Okay, so in real time, or once we start the COBOL, I'll explain you how it is useful. Okay, so sysprint dd sysout star. So I'm passing input. Okay, I'm passing input within the sysut1. It is a hard coding. So in real time, we don't write like that, but I want to explain something else also. That is the reason I'm writing like this. So we earlier we specified data set name. Now I am hard coding the data. So TSO JCL slash star. So the star is starting of the in stream. Slash star indicates end of the in stream. So this will become as an input for sysut1. Now I want to copy this data to temporary data set. So sysut2 dd dsn is equal to, so we will write two ampersand symbols. Two ampersand symbols indicates it is a temporary data set. So I'll say tmp1. Okay, so rest of the parameters as usual we write. So what happens, temporary data set will be deleted till end of the job. Okay, even though if it creates, but end of the job we will delete it. So disposition new catalog delete. So space equal track 1 comma 1 release unit equal sys DA. So DCB LR is LRECL 80, block size 800, record format fixed block, dataset organization is PS. Sysil DD done. Okay, Sysil DD is done. So now this particular, I want to take temporary data set as an input. So what I do, I will write a step 2, execute VSAM is equal to IEB journal. Okay, sysprint dd sysout equal star sysut1. So dd dsn is equal to ampersand ampersand. The name what you have given, the same name you are supposed to give it. So disposition old delete delete. So once the execution is done of the step 2, delete it. So that is what we return, right? Next, sysut2 td sysout equals star. I'm redirecting output to the spool. Sysin td dump. Save and submit. So we are getting JCL error. Let's go and see the what went wrong. Keyword positional 9. Statement number 9. Statement number over here. So it should be a disposition equal. Disposition equal. Submit. We are getting S806. S806 because load module. Okay, the utility is not correct. IAB journal. Submit. So now we got the Maxis 0 team. Now go to the spool. You will be able to see CC2. Okay. So what is the advantage of your temporary data set? So you creating temporarily and end of the job, it is going to delete it. Okay. End of the job, we are deleting it. So because once you copy this data from here to here, there is no point of keeping our physically data set. There is no point of keeping that particular data set on storage device. Okay, so I have given a real-time example, right? In real time we do like this. So we will convert here, we specify the COBOL program name and it generates the object code. This is the object code. This object code we specify as an input. The output will be generated load module. Okay, so this is all about. temporary data set. Is it clear to you? So do you have any queries?
Can you tell me what is this in DD dummy? Like, can you
Yeah, so here sysin dummy is mandatory when you are executing IEB genre. IEB genre is expecting some control cards, at least one control card from sysin DD. But according to my requirement, I no need to write any control card. So I'm indicating to the system. I don't have any specific requirement to specify in sysin DD statement. So that is we are indicating by putting a dummy. Dummy means okay. So we are writing sysin dummy. So we know that sysin dummy is a mandatory, but we don't want to write any control card. So it's like a dummy. So here meaning of English dummy, right? So dummy means something you put to proceed further. If you don't put dummy, right? If you don't put dummy, it might stop the execution. Same case here also. So ideally, we are supposed to write some control card as per the IEB general requirement. So there are something you can generate, lines. You generate the code. There are few things you can do with the IEB general, right? So we don't want to do it. We are simply copying. But that why we need to write the control card not required. So we are indicating by putting a dummy. That's all.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Venkat, actually, what's the difference between like job card and control card, Venkat?
See, job card is nothing but this one. Okay. So this is the job card. It is going to control the entire JCL. Okay. So to whom notification is to be sent, what is the message level, what is the time, what is the region, all of them you specify on the job card. Whereas system control card, if you say control card, the control card you specify as per your program. So there is no there is no difference. Are there? You don't need to compare job card and control card. So control card you specify depends on the utility or program. If you see IEFBR 40, I did not use any control card. Okay, so I'll show you. So can you see I used IFBR 14, but I did not use anywhere control card. That is not required. But when you see the temporary data set, it is required, right? So it is when you are seeing IEB general for this utility, sysin dummy sysin statement is required. Okay, if you see sort utility, yesterday I explained sort utility. If you notice sort utility, we want to sort it. We have to mention the control card. The program demands as per the utility and as per your requirement, you will be writing the control card.
Okay, so the control card determines that sysin statement, right? I mean sysin
Yeah,
line.
yes,
Okay.
right. That is
Okay,
control.
okay.
That is called we call as a control card.
Okay, okay, okay. Thanks. So
Okay.
for each utility, that I mean control card will get changed, right?
Yes, yes. The options will
Yeah.
vary. Okay. You see,
Okay.
sort utility, the control card is different because these control cards are related to belongs to sort utility. If you see IEV copy, okay, if you see IEV copy, the control card is different. It varies based on the utility. Even for user-defined program also, there will be a control card. Okay, for user-defined program also, there will be a control card if you are accepting anything, if you are accepting any variable, you have to give a value in the control card only.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So this is all about your temporary data set. Now we are going to discuss type run is equal to scan and hold. Okay, so I'll write a one JCL now, that is type yes. So MATRF step 1 execute VSAM is equal to IEFPR 40 TD1 TD DSN is equal to, so I'm disposition mod catalog delete unit equal sys DA space track 1 RLSC DCB LRECL 80 block size 800 record format fixed block. So we have a parameter on job card team, that is type run is equal to scan. Type run is equal to scan. So what is the use of type run is equal to scan? Okay, before like it is, we are checking whether before we submit, before we execute, okay, before we execute, whether we have any JCL errors or not. Okay, we want to see do you have any JCL errors or not. If there are no JCL errors, then type run will not execute. It will not execute the step. If there are any errors are there, it will show you the errors. So what I do, team, I am making explicitly error. I am deleting unit equal. So you will get JCL error. You see, you will get a JCL error as usual. How you got earlier, same way. Now you can see the message. Positional parameter must be specified. Line statement number 3. Press F3 and yes, 3 means over here. Okay. Now I will give unit equals is DA. Let me give new. Now I am save and submitting. So do you okay? So can you see MAT? It is internal. It is not showing maxis error. Okay. So what is the this is the beauty of the type run. This is the functionality of the type run. So if there are no JCL errors, it will check only JCL errors. It will not check anything else. Okay. So do we have any JCL error? Now it is not. There are no JCL errors. That is the reason it is indicating like this. So MATRM JC ended at MATE internal. So we don't have any errors at all. Okay, we don't have any errors. So now what we can do, just to remove this one. So we are confident, we are okay, we are sure that there are no JC errors. Now I can submit. Okay, so max is 0. So why we need to do that? That might be the question, right? So Venkat, why we need to do like that? So what happens, Steve? Okay, so what happens? I'll tell you the one scenario here. I'm repeating. 33, 34, 35, 25, 23. See, I am I am deleting this one. Okay. See, there are two things I am doing in this job. I am submitting this code. Let me delete it. So I'm submitting this code. This file, this one syntactically is correct. This one syntactically is wrong. So what happens? This file will be created. This file will not be created. So let's you see, because there is no type run is equal scan. So we'll get the JCL error anyhow, as I told you. So go here. So line number 4. Okay. So line number 4 means the problem is coming here. At the same time, if you go and see 3.4, file is there. See, it's like incomplete process, right? Again, what I have to do, see, partially it got executed, partial code is not executed. See, anyhow it is a rework for us, so we have to go and delete it. Either you have to delete it or I have to change it to old. So correct. So before, okay, to avoid this type of the problems, okay, some of one few steps will be executed, few steps will not execute because of the JCL errors. So we want to run everything in one go when there are no JCL errors. If that is the scenario, that is your requirement, just write TypRun is equal scan. So what happens when you write a TypRun is equal scan? It will not, even though this is a correct, even though the DD1 is correct, no issues at all, it will not create because TypRun is equal scan is there. TypRun is equal scan, it will check, do there are any syntactical errors. If there are no syntactical error, it will indicate the same to you. Okay, there are no syntactical errors. If there are any syntax errors are there, you will get JCL internal error. That is the advantage of it. So a good example I have given now only, right? So this file is created, but this file is not created. Now I have to submit again one more time. There is no chance. I have to create it. I have to submit it. Then what I have to do it? I have to modify this code. So then obviously you will get a confusion since only one step, two DD names. But in real time, there are multiple steps, multiple DD names are there. So we don't know where went wrong. Again, we have to comment some piece of code. Sometimes we need to uncomment it. So you have to do all this, work. You have to work around the JCL. So to solve that problem, what we can do, we can go with the TypRun is equal scan. Is it clear, team?
Yes, Venkat.
Yeah. So this is all about TypRun is equal scan. So we have another option, team. This is the interview question as well as TypRun is equal hold. Okay. So TypRun is equal hold. So let me change the file name. I will save and submit. Okay. So what is going to happen whenever I say TypRun is equal hold on job part, it will submit. Okay. There is no doubt in that. It will submit, but it will not execute. It will not execute. If you go to the school, you can see the job. So there might be a question. You cannot see the job which is submitted by you, right? So I'll submit one more time. So you see job ID 9710. So go here. You will not be able to see here. Okay. You will not be able to see here. Yes, you are able to see on the top, right? Sometimes if you want to see, you have to type on ST panel. Yes, H means olded jobs. So these are the olded jobs submitted by me, by this user. So now I try write ST, all the jobs which are in execution, which are executed already, which are jobs are hold. So Venkat, how you know the job is holded? Just press F11, press F11. Okay, so you use here press F11. You can see the status is hold. Okay, so which means that you are submitted. Okay, so later after some time, based on the requirement, you have to release it. How you can release A? So against that particular job which has a hold status, submit A. I don't have any authorization to do it, but in real time you execute A. Okay, if you write A, it will start executing. Now it is in execution stage, status queue. Start executing once you type A. If you A is nothing but releasing a job which is on hold status in the school. This is about TypRun is equal hold. Now the next parameter is set. Okay, so in last session, in last few sessions, we discussed about the symbolic parameter. Okay, we discussed about the symbolic parameter, right? Let me explain you this example. Okay, I'll take this example. I want hear from you guys. I want to hear answer from my question here. What is the common data set here? This is the JCL to sort the data. So total, how many executes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 8 steps are there. So for all 8 steps, uh, what is the common T? Input data set is the common. Okay, so input data set is the common. So this input data set, it might vary. I mean, it might change after 10 days. So the input data can be something after 10 days, it will be 11 or something else. If that is the scenario, everything is same team. Okay, I'm submitting a JCL with the 8 steps or 6 steps. So the input data set is fixed for all these steps. Okay, if I change to the new data set also, that should be the common for all 8 steps. Okay, so that is the common for every step. Then, so whenever there is a file is changed, I have to come to here, I have to change here, I have to come to here, I have to change, I have to come here. Every data set, every wherever the data set is used, we have to come and change it. So instead of that, what we can do, we can go with the ampersand symbolic parameter, ampersand. So I'll say I data set, I data, IDS. Okay, IDS means input data set. So now I will mention the same thing here. Okay, everywhere. Okay, wherever input data set, I'll mention same. Yeah. So this is fine team. Now, okay. So just I hope you got it. What is the this is the symbolic parameter. Now, for this symbolic parameter, we have to provide the value, right? So what we do on top of the JCL, I will write set. What is the symbolic parameter? What is the symbolic parameter? IDS. Just to change it. Okay. So whenever there is a data set change, just come to the JCL, change the change the data set on the top. Automatically, it will be reflected everywhere. So because set parameter will make code is modifiable easily. If you want to modify the code, okay, if you want to modify the JCL and you are doing repeatedly, okay, that is such a way your application is there. So if the JCL is a fixed, then maybe set may not be required. But there are some scenarios the data set keep on changing. When the data set is keep on changing, what you can do, just simply you can add symbolic parameter and use set parameter. So wherever this is the data set being used, you can mention there symbolic parameter and assign the value to the symbolic parameter using set parameter. Now if I submit, it will work. Okay, we got you. So everywhere now ampersand IDS. Okay, this is going to replace. So wherever IDS is there, it is going to come here. So here IDS is there, it is going to substitute with this data set. Now after 1 week, okay, the data set name is changed. So what you need to do, just come to here, just change here itself. Okay, so you might argue, so why Venkat we have to use set? We can use change command, right? So change from old data set to new data set. So yes, this is also possible. So it is possible, but again we need to cross check it. Okay, so every time this data set will not be input, so there might be a coordination also. Okay, So you might be using this data set for different functionalities, right? So everywhere it should not reflect. So everywhere it should not reflect. So if that is a scenario, we will go with the symbolic parameter. I'm repeating again. So my requirement is thin. Wherever this data set is an input, only there I have to change it. Only that particular place I have to change it. If this particular data set using as a concatenation data set, if I am using somewhere as an output data set, it should not change. It should not change. If I give change command, whether it is an input data set, whether it is a concatenation data set, whether it is output data set, irrespective of it, wherever it is there, it is going to change. So that particular scenario, change command is not correct. We have to go with the set. Are you clear? Did you understand? So you can have n number of set parameters. Okay, you can go with the multiple symbolic parameter. You can assign them. So you can assign s set OD. Okay, team. So these are all the parameters we are to we have to discuss. We discussed that part. Let me stop the recording.